So whatever you say now can be used against you in a court of law.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
All right. So, hey, everybody, I figure what we'll do to start this session, because we got two new folks around us, and we do record it, and every once in a while it just pops up it'll pop up on Facebook. Tell us a little bit about your company and what you're doing. Is that cool? I'm going to start in my panel. Top left, Nicole Davidson.
There's two Nicoles here.
Two Nicoles. Nikki Nick.
My name is Nicole Davidson. We are an energy efficient lighting company. We specialize in both LED and induction technologies. And we also run and manage and own a LED shop cart website.
Very cool. I've always wondered like what you did until I went to your office. You actually sell lights. Oh, got it.
We do.
Pretty cool.
It's interesting.
How long have you
keep us on our toes?
How long have you been in business?
10 years. Maybe even a little over that, maybe 11.
Time flies, right?
Yeah.
You start something, before you know it, you get great. See all that right there? That's years, baby. That is.
Well, listen, this is what's called dye, hair dye.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. Actually, I was speaking to Missy last night, or 2 nights ago, and she said, you know, you actually have nice hair, because I'm always bald, just like the cat on the bottom there, always bald. You actually have nice hair. And I just prefer to be bald. Now I'm actually, wait, I got feedback. So I actually just let it grow because I'm lazy with COVID. And I said, I'm going to let it grow, see how long it grows. Now I'm seeing that I actually am going bald. She said, you got nice hair. I said, yeah, I think I'm going to dye it black. She's like, oh, that'll be nice. I said, I ain't dyed Jack Diddley. I couldn't. All right, I'm digressing. Colette, tell us what you do.
Okay, my name is Colette Ramsey Taylor, and I'm the owner of a, I'm sorry, I was looking at your brother's face. He was very intimidating. I'm the owner of Fluid Financial Group, and what we do is we do safe money strategies. We do retirement planning, and we work with anyone who needs help planning for their retirement. But I'd like to work specifically with women to help educate them more about retirement, social security, and what they need to do to be prepared. So that's what we're doing. It's a new career for me relatively. I've been doing it over a year now. And so having learned what I've learned, I realized that, yeah, I need to really help as many people as possible.
Cool, very cool. Every financial advisor in your capacity that I learned, when they start out, they say the same thing. They go, you know, when I learned what I know now, I need to help people. It's amazing how many people don't have financial acumen. So it makes you almost like zealous to help people.
Yes.
Right? So you're going to enlighten the world.
Yes.
Of course, you only want to do with the girls, but that's okay.
No. I will work
I'll deal with
anyone,
some dudes too, but
my heart is for helping women to understand, because, you know, we're the backbone of families, you know, and women tend to take more time off to raise families, take care of families, and they're so impacted. Just that alone, their social security is impacted. A lot of them don't realize how much that has to do with how they plan for retirement, and they've just got to know. The story has to be told.
Okay, all right.
Well, I was not laughing at you. I was laughing at Mark's face, so please don't think I was being rude.
Okay, no, it's fine.
I'm like, you the backbone, so what's to do? What am I then? What am I? Chopped liver? I'm the liver of the family? Oh, sorry. All right.
That's his reaction whenever you speak about the women. It just is.
The women are the backbone of the family. Believe me, I know. If my mama taught us right. Don't even get it twisted. She's like the most impressive person I know in the entire world. My mama.
That's nice.
It's true. She's a phenomenal person. And I think my dad was, you know, all that, took care of the bills, raised, you know, did all that stuff because my mom stayed at home. she made my life worth living, I guess is the way to put it, you know. That's what mothers do. You are right. Get it back. I'm just a clown. John, you got all kinds of feedback. What do you like? Are you actually in your grill right now?
No, I'm not in my grill right now. I stepped away to hear that lovely soliloquy of yours about your mother.
Just for the record, I mean,
I guess it's proprietary.
I know this is recorded and this is business and all things, but she was my mother first. You're actually fortunate that I didn't leave you out on the doorstep when you came home. So, you know, that said, let's hear a little bit about your business, man. We might as well.
I'm an aspiring pit master. No, that's just for no, I do residential construction, home remodeling. Started off with air conditioning and refrigeration installation and repair, and am currently working on a couple of rehab projects here in the Philadelphia area. So that's what I do. I like to fix stuff, break stuff, and flip stuff.
Nice. I like that. That's actually
I like
a tagline. It's a nice tagline. Think about it. Write it down. Write it down. For real.
My dream job right there.
Yes. See that? And Nicole, what do you do?
My company is named Apex Survey Solutions, and I am a marketing strategist, social media strategist, things like that.
Cool. So last time we got together, we tried to do something new, because we said we want to make this meeting, like when people join, sometimes we can just join and yammer. I'm really good for that, but I want to get something out of it. So we started doing our commitments. At the end of the meeting, we'll say what we're going to do next week just to help our business grow. One thing that you can do to help your business grow. And everybody had amazing things who were on last week. And I said, I'm going to play the tape back and listen to it and see if you committed. And then we're going to talk about it now. So we got 3 people on from last week, myself, Nicole, and Jonathan. And we all made commitments. The question is, did we commit? Did we make our commitments? So do you remember what you committed to? Because I got it written down right here. Remember what you committed to?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first. Can I go first?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dropping this podcast. Next week, actually, is the podcast launch, right? I committed last week to making my podcast webpage so that, you know, someone can, a dedicated webpage. I did not make it happen. When I said this last week, I said, sometimes we make our commitments and we don't make it happen. It's okay. Like this real life too, right? We all are business owners, which means we don't have the luxury of, and it's a luxury in a way sometimes. An employee, you tell the employee, do this, then do this, then do this.
Mm-hmm.
Owners we can't do that, right? So we might not make it. I will say that even I didn't get the page up, I got all the preliminary set because I had to do a whole bunch of dancing on the back end. So I did not make my commitment. Boo-hoo. Jonathan, remember what you committed? And the funny thing is, as I was writing it down, I actually do coach Nicole. I actually do coach Jonathan, and I do coach Courtney.
And he does.
And I wrote down I wrote down your notes, and I'm like, oh, they made their commitments. Jonathan, you said you were going to complete permitting and licensing, right. And I know that you did it. So you can brag if you want.
I won't rub it in your face. I'll just say that I'm dedicated to the cause. Okay. You know, and I'm focused. I listen to good advice and I apply it quickly, unlike some. You know, went well. And I had another commitment. I don't know if you wanted me to bring that up right now.
Feel free.
We were talking last week about getting a board of directors, people who you can bounce ideas off of, who will give you the real deal. So I started at home with my lovely wife, who gives me the real deal whether I ask for it or not, as she should. You know, so she's on my board. I got it's a small group. It's only really 3 or 4 people. They don't even really know each other. They're not in the same walks of life, you know, secularly or anything like that. It's not all family. But I find that when I bounce things off of them, if they all tend to agree, it tends to be the right direction for me to go, even if I don't feel like it. You know, so I got my other commitment done. I have a board of directors.
Nice. So for those, last week, I forgot. Oh, I think Nicole, when I was coaching you one time, we talked about this board of directors, and it's not, you know, like the board in Microsoft. I mean, the vice
Right.
president. It's not that. It's a small, what we call an action board. It's 4 or 5 people that you know, like, and trust, that you respect, that you can bounce business ideas off of, anything pertaining to your business, but it's the same group. Because what I find, especially with newer business owners, they listen to you, to this voice here, that voice here, this voice here, this voice, and they're all over the place. And they don't have this singular focus because they have too many things that they're hearing from. And it also is a challenge sometimes when we need advice or direction. What color should my website be? You know, who do I talk to about it? But I think if you can have a formal board of directors, I call it like an action board, you can then say, hey, guys, I'm working on my website and I wanted to know my colors. You can go to those 5 people and you formally invite them to work with you, to be your board. They have to obviously want to know what you're about and love you and hope you're going to do well. And they'll just give you their opinions. But it's the same set of opinions. I think that's really powerful. So like on my board of directors, I have a few people. Nicole is now on my board because she helps me with all my marketing. I have some people that you don't know that are on my board just to help me with ideas, to help me stay focused. And I just think it's something that everybody should do. I think it's going to be powerful as you continue to progress in your business.
Yep.
So Mark, so this is not necessarily a board that you have for like when you're building your corporation. This is just literally a group of people. Okay.
Yep.
It's basically like a bouncing board. Like,
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good
I
idea.
mean, I like it, and I find that most people have it kind of, but it's a little bit, it's usually informal, right? But formalize it, saying, hey, you know, from time to time, would you mind if I have a question, if I ask you, you know, if I'm starting a business, and, you know, it can be anything. It can be I'm creating a new engagement letter, and I just want 4 people to listen to it. When I started my business, I didn't really have anybody like that, you know, so I would do something and then I don't know if it's good enough. I don't know, you know, and so it was nice. It's nice to just have a few people to say, hey, this is my 5, this is my 4. And it doesn't, and you don't want it to be too big because everybody will have different opinions. So we talked about that. Yeah. And I mentioned having a board of directors and maybe formalizing it, writing down your members and then inviting them to be on your board, see what they say. Now, you know, you got this group. So good. I know you hit your commitments, whatever. Nicole, did you make your commitments?
I did.
You don't even remember what they are, do you?
I don't remember what they are. Is that what you said?
You remember what you committed to?
I
Because I wrote them down.
I committed to signing my client, onboarding. I did that.
Yes,
And holding you accountable for certain things that you were to do.
yes.
And I did, but I can
did.
only make you do so many things.
And your third one was to have the follow up with your quarterly action plan. And
I did do that.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
So I'm like Jonathan. I'm aggressive in what I do, and I follow through.
Yeah. No, I am very pleased. You've ever heard that expression, physician, heal thyself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I bet you what, though? I bet you what? Next week, I'm going to get that page done.
You're going to have to.
I have to. So that'll be my commitment. But we'll talk about next week's commitments. We said we have a theme for our discussion today. I would love to get your take on it. The one that we came up with is, it is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. How do you apply that to your business? What do you think? Nicole, she raised her hand like we in school.
I mean, you know, you think about the LED arena, right? There's a lot of people in the game. And so if you have the same business model as someone else, who cares if you're, I mean, in my opinion, you're not imitating their, you know, you may not necessarily be imitating their style or things like that, but, you know, you might pick little things out of certain things that you like about businesses and fine tune it to your business, and that's how you make it more successful. I mean, in my opinion, you know.
And you know, that's a good point. But when I look at when you have a business, usually it came out of somewhere, something that you wanted to do, which means that you have a message. And so in your originality, you want to be able to succeed with your original message, the things that you want to put out there. It's uniquely yours. If you're imitating what someone else does, I agree with you, Nicole, that you see certain things, features in other people's business that you like to apply to yours, but you cannot go out there just trying to imitate what they do because you've already failed. You can't do what they do. Even if what you're trying to do is the same type of industry, you have to do it according to how your personality is, your message is. And so you want to definitely achieve whatever you can in your originality, rather than failing at imitating someone else.
No, I thoroughly agree. I'm just saying that there's certain industries that there's so much competition, right? Like you're imitating them, right? So in my business, I feel like certain elements of it are definitely, for sure, unique, right? But you take different pieces of everybody else's business and try to make it unique to you. So it's not so cookie cutter.
Right.
Sending the message that we want to send, achieving the clientele that we want to achieve, and really, that's really what it's about. Like when you're talking about business, you want to pick the perfect elements of everybody else's business and make it your own.
Cool.
Right.
I'm muting you, John, back and forth because you got me with some bananas feedback. So just FYI.
Yeah.
If you got a thought, though, jump in because we need your voice. I think about that statement in an interesting way. Better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. When I started my business years ago, I have a good friend. We have a good friend, Jonathan and I grew up with her. And I remember the first headshot I took for something or another. She was like, "You don't even have a tie on my website." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to wear a tie in my business." But that's not, you're an accountant. And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not who I am." She's like, "You got to do that. I mean, that doesn't look right." And I'm like, "Well, you know what? If a client can't accept me for who I am, then I probably don't want to be in business." And we've had this debate for years. She like freaks out all the time. And I just feel like, you know what? I'm going to be who I am. And it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And if it's not going to work, I'll be proud to have failed doing it my way than to pretend to be something else some other way. And I don't think I would even be successful because I wouldn't be true to myself. So I think that when I think about that, I don't want to succeed in imitating this person or that person or talking this way. I am who I am. And it's either got to work or it's not. And if it doesn't work, that's cool. I can always, get on the train with that cup and beg. I used to always hear that when if business goes by. I'm almost blind. I think I can just darken the glasses to get a cup. Do it that way, but we'll see. So far, it's been working for me. We actually had a conversation, me and that same friend. I'm unmuting you, John. We had a conversation, me and that same friend last week because I told her about the podcast, and we had Nicole and I did like an introduction. And she called me up and she said, "I just got to tell you." She said, "The first thing I saw when I saw you is," I said, "Why is this dude in a sweatshirt and unshaven?" I was like, "Well, that's COVID. I mean, all my shirts said, wait to go to the dry cleaner." She said, "No, but the content was so good that I looked past it." She said, "I finally get what you mean by being who you are." Yeah, good. So that's my little take as far as succeeding in originality. Jonathan, are you standing in front of sheetrock now?
Mm-hmm. How do I sound? Is the feedback less?
You sound amazing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved from where I was. I think it was the location. But as respects your, I like to call them quote of the day, I would agree with it. I think that's kind of the definition of an entrepreneur versus an individual who does. I mean, there's nothing wrong or dishonorable with working in the system. Most people are system people. But to me, being an entrepreneur means you're comfortable being uncomfortable and you're willing to fail however many times it takes to get your purpose accomplished. So, I think that quote is really what encompasses being an entrepreneur. So I would definitely agree with. I don't think you can be. I really don't believe you can be an entrepreneur and be an imitator. I really don't think you can be, because you already are an entrepreneur because you don't want to be with the masses. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that that's a very accurate statement that I would agree with.
Cool. Cool. Nicole, thought? Fluke?
Me? Well, my motto, if you look on Facebook, my bio says, I'm not a cookie cutter marketer. Every brand is unique, and so is my marketing tactics. So right there says it all.
Cool. Cool. So it's important. I think I like that quote because it when you're up and running for a while in business and you run into those roadblocks, we talked about roadblocks last week, I think, you start saying, well, I wonder what everybody else is doing. But to me, the point of this message is be careful. Don't worry about being yourself. Don't worry about trying something and maybe it doesn't work out perfectly. It doesn't mean that the business is a failure. That aspect is. So don't be scared to keep being original when you're in business, and you have your different takes. Colette, you talked about being an advisor to women, right? But don't be scared to be who you are. If you're your true self, you can succeed. And if it doesn't work out, then you pivot, But that's one thing that I think a lot of people do when the going gets tough. They look at what the competition is doing. Oh, let me see if I can just copy them and make it $2 cheaper. That's a mistake, And you might be able to pull it off. You might be able to. I know when I started my business, I looked at the first thing I did was I called H&R Block and try to get all their prices. Did you all do that when you started your business? Call a competitor and get the prices? I did that. I was like,
you want to
how
check
much
out
does
the
it cost?
competitor.
Yeah, right. How much does it cost to get a tax return done in New Jersey? Well, sir, it depends on what you have. Well, I think I have a 1040 and a Schedule A and a New Jersey. Oh, that'll be $269. Then I go on one thing and put $259.99. But you fail fast. You know why you fail fast? Because I didn't realize H&R Block is spending millions of dollars every week
on their marketing
to get people to come in. So
right.
I'm undercutting and all of this stuff, and it got me nowhere. So I just realized, you have to be original. Be who you are.
Right.
So, cool.
But I believe in originality, right? But a good entrepreneur does their homework. So you have to know what the competition is doing.
Right.
Too. So my point earlier was, in order to fine tune your business, it's not going to be cookie cutter, right? It's going to be custom to you, unique to you, and unique to your business. And I do believe in people buying into you as a person and you as a company. So we don't necessarily have to be the cheapest out there, right? So a lot of people buy into that. Convenience, customer service, lead time. So everything, some people might be the cheapest out there, but their customer service isn't there. Stocking the product. So, it's, as I said, it's unique to each company and individual.
What you're saying is exactly, if I'm understanding, because I think I am, that's exactly what Steve Jobs was. Steve Jobs, he didn't invent the iPhone. He didn't invent the iPod. He didn't even invent the Apple. He saw people's brilliant ideas, and then he said, how can I make this even better? And he made his own unique thing from somebody's brilliant idea. And I think I don't know, the wheel was invented one time. Everything else is based off of the one invention. I don't know if I'll ever invent something ever, but a good entrepreneur does the research, tries to understand, tries to almost reverse engineer, and then say, okay, now how do I add me to it? I absolutely agree with
So
you.
it's not a matter of imitating, it's fine tuning.
It's fine tuning.
Exactly. And
it's
a
evolving.
good
It's evolving. Right?
A good entrepreneur knows that there's no need to reinvent what's already out there. And it really does come down to how you can make it better and make it uniquely you, which is what I was saying before. And, when you think about when you have an idea for certain crafts you want to do, most people, they go to Pinterest, right? Because it's been done. Someone has done it. whatever idea you have, if you Google it, someone has done it, and you will find it sometimes in its raw state, and then you can now improve on it, put your own touch to it to make it exactly what you want.
Yeah, I agree. But then the second trick is how to monetize it.
Yeah.
Right? How to get the word out, right? Now you got your unique you, right? Now you got to make sure that you can monetize it. And that's what the great entrepreneurs do. I mean, you remember when the iPod first came out?
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had this music device. It wasn't an iPod. I forgot the name of it. It was like 4 times the size, but it was easier to use than the iPod. In fact, you could have all of your songs on a computer and just tether your device to it and copy it like a file directory. But it obviously was selling, but it never became what the iPod is. That company, as smart as they were and as good as the product, they didn't monetize it. So we got to be aware of that too, right? Do our research.
That comes with the marketing, because remember, iPod had that great ad with the shadows and the cord, and that got everyone so involved. It wasn't even about the product itself. You're looking at this ad and it's like, oh, that is so cool. So your marketing has to be on point. Mm-hmm. You have to convince these people that they want what you have.
Yeah. So research, find something that you can use, imitate, tweak, and then go to market and market the crap out of it. Right? Whatever it is that makes it unique, and then you got something. So I want to do the same thing for my own business. I really do. I mean, I think that's really what the goal is, right? Find your unique selling proposition, USP, and then see how you can monetize it. I keep saying I don't want to be the best kept secret, right? Mm-hmm. So you get your stuff together and then you try to blow it up. So cool. Awesome. We're like at the 35-minute mark, so I'm not going to hold us long unless we have anything amazing to say. We can, if we're ready to do what we're going to do next week to commit. This is the time to make it happen. Anybody want to go first? Jonathan?
I'll go first. So cool. I have another 2-level commitment that I'm aiming for.
Stop showing off. Can't you just do like one, please.
Well, my mother taught me the value of multi-pronged attacks. So the first commitment is I'm closing in on a new project. So I'm looking to expand my capabilities and do multiple projects at once, and really sink into the role that I'm trying to make for myself, which is project management, instead of slinging the wrench. I've come to realize that I'm limited because I can only do but so. I'm a beast, to be humble, but I can only do but so much. But project management allows me to exponentially do more. So I want to close a second project by the end of next week, by next Friday. And then the other focus is to build out my, not board of directors, but my business team. So I have an accountant, wink, wink. Now I'm looking for, I have installers on the building end. Now I'm looking to get financial advisors. And I have a couple of people in mind as respects actually locking down loans to do more of my own projects instead of overseeing it. So I'm looking to build out the financial team a little bit more next week.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Mm. Who's next? Anybody?
Aren't you next?
I can definitely be next.
He's
still
trying to finalize his account last week.
That's right.
I'm about to say, so Mark is going to commit to the following. He's going to launch a podcast.
Okay.
All right. And he is going to build out his webpage. Okay. And he's going to do one more thing.
Oh boy.
Yeah. There's an audio component to the podcast. It's an introductory song. The beat is fly. And I have to figure out how to finish tweaking it. I started it, and I'm going to get all of that stuff ready. So those 3 things, and that's working on the business. There's some things that are in the business like that I need to focus on. One of my advisory clients needs some advisory, and his name is Jonathan. Because the nonsense I just heard him spew is not going to work for me. So we need to talk. We need to get on the calendar, and I need to get your profitability plan in place.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to put you out there, man. I was trying to keep it like, real
interesting.
real.
I'm gonna just say this, and this is part of the problem, right? So Jonathan, I'm working on his books. We went from a discussion of some questions I had on his books to about an hour-and-a-half discussion about what the heck was it about?
Business growth.
It was about growth, but it was something about your numbers that
and bidding algorithms.
Yeah, we actually changed the way you do your bidding, right? So I mean,
Correct.
I don't know. I always get lost in trying to teach instead of just finishing my task in hand, which throws me off. So I'm going to blame you for not getting my webpage done. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to commit?
Jonathan, I have an idea for you.
Okay.
Why don't you ask your brother Mark Adams to be one of your investors?
He's so cheap, man. I have to get my pie charts together. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I will not invest with Jonathan right now. Are you ready for why I will not invest with Jonathan? Because when we're done with our process, our profitability and growth, he's not going to be looking for investors. You will see why. I'm putting it out there right now. I don't think that's the way to go for you right now. Okay. I always believe, and this is the whole thing with all these different directions, I always believe that you need to be laser focused on getting something perfect first. You have your GC thing going. I want to see you focus on that. We'll talk about that. It all ties to your personal financial goals, though. And it's easy to have all these different ideas. I mean, this is true. I want you to be laser focused on hitting a financial target, and it cannot be with investors at the moment. Maybe it will be in 6 months, but not at the moment. That should not be your next week's focus. But I didn't say investors, though. I didn't say investors. I said my financial team. Build business team, locking down loan. That's what I wrote in my notes. But anyway, we'll talk about it. And that's fine. That's fine. When building a financial team, that's beautiful. I love it, but there's a time for it. That's all I'm saying. And I think I want you to be a little bit more regimented and laser focused on acquiring income in a different capacity. But I'm just an advisor. You will arrive at a conclusion. I don't tell anybody to do. I lay it all out and then you decide. That's the way it works. So cool. But I do want you to think about that, and we'll chat about that. That'll work. Nicole will try to get all my money in my brother's pocket. You know I only got $4.
Jonathan, I just want to mess with him a little bit. That's it.
I got $4 and I got 31 cents. After cutting those trees, as you should. After cutting those trees. Man, those guys are magicians. All right, Colette, you want to commit to something?
What I'm trying to commit to is a process of being able to reach out to women. There's a lot of companies right now that are laying off, and seeing if I can reach out to them to help them to know what to do with their 401k. It is dependent on the marketing people that I'm trying to work with to get that done. So I want to at least get started in the process of having everything laid out.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Nicole. We got 2 Nicoles. You can say, I'm not telling you my business, or you can just say it out loud.
I was going to say, I don't really want to be accountable for nothing right now.
All right. I ain't mad at you. You actually have been so busy too, right?
Yeah, I've been really busy. And, as a business owner, you're always pulled into so many different directions. So, to hone in on one particular thing, it could be tough at times. But one of the things that I would like to accomplish next week is we have this new launch on a particular item that we're going to be marketing. So in that sense, I would like to create all the marketing pieces, and get that up and running and off to the races.
Nice. Have you ever heard of a Kanban board? A Kanban board? It's something I learned about last year in my advisory course, and it's like these 3 columns. What is it? To do, doing, and done. And we have all
okay.
the to-do list, and you move to your doing list. So I like what you just said. You described like getting it to your doing list and getting it on your done list. That's kind of cool. Nicole Luke.
I have a meeting with another potential client next week. So,
Fire.
yeah. And then, of course, I always need to hold you accountable.
True. I'm actually doing way more than I have before on the business and in it. So it's coming. It's coming. Cool.
You are doing awesome.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Should we wrap up? Anybody got anything they want to close with? Any questions, any comments, any observations, any songs?
No songs, but I really like meeting everybody and seeing Miss Fluke again and meeting the other Nicole and Miss Taylor. I really appreciate the feedback. So if this can pull me away from the grill, then you know it's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I actually enjoyed it too, Mark. This is a really good platform to just discuss things and get the feedback.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I do this every week on Wednesdays with another group. I've been doing things like this for years. It is just a good place to vent or to vibe, I should say. And if also feel free to bring questions to the group. Nobody has all the answers, and it could be something crazy like, what do you think about my podcast cover? And we get ideas, and it helps us in that way. So, hey, keep on coming.
One thing I do want to say, Mark, make sure you soundproof that room that you're going to be doing your podcast in.
Why? Because you hear my fish tank?
Yeah, you're going to hear everything.
There's a long story about that. There's a long story about that.
Okay.
I almost killed my fish this week, so it has a lot less water than it does before. So when I do the podcast, which is in this office, I've done 4 of them already. Usually the tank has way more water, but I'm trying to get that straight.
Okay.
And then I usually unplug my phone because, it's kind of crazy. But my
you
fish
still want to try to invest in those tiles. They're not very expensive, but try to invest in those tiles.
Not in my pretty office. Hold on, not my pretty office.
You don't have to attach them directly to the wall. There's a way to do it without attaching it to the wall.
All right, I'll work on that. Nicole?
Yeah.
I'm trying to put the camera on you. Let me know when that's done. Oh, wow, look at that, y'all.
What?
That's bananas, right?
Wow.
Okay, I got to grow up.
A little bit, sir. A little bit.
All right. So cool. I'll work on that. But I already have some recorded, and it is. I have an audio tech who's going to clean it all up. How about that?
You do. Yes.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. Cool. Thanks, guys. I'm going to shut this puppy down and let her get back to work.